with you is information as we move to the start of the 25-26 school year. So the first piece of information is the statistical information from the class of 2025 that just graduated. So Dana Albright Johnson, if you would come forward. Meredith, we have you there as well, but I don't know if Dana's going to do it, or are you going to do it? Okay, Dana, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, board members. I'm pleased to share with you information about the class of 2025. Now, if you're going to share that information about the class of 2025, and to be clear, Meredith is the one who put together the report and made all of the wonderful graphs that go along with it. So for our class of 2025, there were 1,113 diplomas issued. Of those, 120 were mid-year graduates, which was slightly up from the previous year. 12 certificates were issued, and about a third of our students intended to go to public or private four-year colleges. In terms of other plans, about 40% of our students intended to go to community colleges, private junior colleges, and trade schools. And slightly up last year was the number who intended to go to the military, which accounted for 4% of our high school graduates. And about a quarter of our graduates were planning to enter the workforce directly. And I'm sorry Mr. Burgess is not here because he made a comment about this last year, but about 9 students indicated their future plans were undecided, about 1%. And 75% of our graduating seniors did say that they intended to pursue further education. The big change in number this year is that we had about $5 million more in scholarships this year than we did in the previous school year, $33 million versus $28.5 the previous year. Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all.
Board members, one of the things I remember in my interviews with, when I interviewed for this role was the scholarship issue and could we work to get that, move that forward and increase that. And it took a big dip during COVID. It went down as low as $23,120 or $23,120,787 in 2021, but it has gradually gone back up. So as Dana said, it's $5 million more than it was last year. So it's a good sign. Also, we've just about zeroed out the number of students who didn't know what they were going to do after graduation. We got as high as 88 in 2021, but it's come right back down to single digits. So I want to say a big thank you to the work of the school level staff, particularly our teachers and our guidance counselors and just everybody, and which works through Chris to get children to think about what they're going to do when they leave high school. And you notice too, mid-year graduates increasing. The legislature has made a big push for that, or even the 3-year graduate. We haven't had a lot of that, but the mid-year graduation is an option, especially when you have high schools on block schedules. And that's been going on pretty strong since about 2004 across the state. So good numbers. Thank you, Meredith and Dana, for doing this. But also thank you to the school staff, because they're the ones that stay close to the kids and get them thinking about what they want to do and what their real interests are. And you see different areas that they've all pursued when they left us. So, I like the way that report is beginning to shape back up as we get past on farther away from the window of time with the pandemic. So next up we have Miss Ashley Barr, or Dr. Ashley Barr, excuse me, who will talk about the summer reading camp. I'll go ahead and headline this, Mr. Bulls. My memory is pretty good. We are sending $33,345 back to the state. I think that was always our issue to begin with, that we didn't want to send any money back if we could help. And I think, if I remember right, for many years that would come from you, It's like, how much are we giving them back? Well, that's not a whole lot, but wish we could keep all that as well, so.
Don't give them none back unless you ain't giving in.
That's right, so, we've got, Ashley's been working on creating a hole out there that's surrounded by steel, so we can dump the money in there. But we haven't got it ready yet, so we'll have to start on that, next year when Marty's not looking. But I don't think Marty gave us a hard time with it now, legislators might, but no, I think everybody here is fine with it. So Ashley, go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, board members. I'm happy to be here to share some overall results data from our 2025 summer reading camp. As you know, those camps were held June 16th through July 2nd at 4 congregate sites: Randleman Elementary, Ramsar Elementary, Southmont Elementary, and Trinity Elementary schools. So you have in your packet, you have some data here. Across those 4 sites, we had a total enrollment of 345 students. 146 of those students were second graders, 199 were third graders. So the goal, as you know, one of our big goals is to get those third graders across the finish line with third grade proficiency in reading. And so we measure that with 2 different assessments. We began with the in-class summer benchmark assessment. We had 150 of those third graders who took that assessment. And of those 150, 32 of them were able to reach proficiency, so that was a total of 21%. And then beyond that, 101 of our students took the Read to Achieve test. Of those 101, 13 of them achieved proficiency or above on that. So ultimately, after adjusting for good cause exemptions, we had 27 more students who passed that finish line as a result of our teachers' efforts. So we were proud of that.
Is it, you like me, if not, it's okay? Why our second grade enrollment might be down this year from last year?
We weren't 100% sure on that either. It is significantly down. Third grade enrollment has some, it hinges on whether or not they are promoted. And so third grade, there's a little more teeth in them actually coming. And we did have quite a few third graders who came even though they were already a good cause exemption. So that was good. They got 10 more days of good solid reading instruction. But we are not 100% sure why. Now we have seen some improvements in our K2 M-class scores, which is the only real measure we have as far as inviting them.
Like that.
So I can tease that out some more if you'd like it.
Actually, that's not, all of this is really still choice of parents, whether they bring their children or not, but I think the part about what's going on with in-class through second grade and parents seeing that, I would lean towards the schools have done a really good job of keeping their second grade parents informed, and then are we making progress with second graders? But I still think this whole initiative, I liked the first time I read it, but it's still, and 13 years ago, first time I really saw it and looked at it very strongly was, I still think this is a very individualized initiative across the state. It affects the numbers of kids it affects from one year to the next, just in involvement in it, but also in success with it. It's still very individualized, and I can't ever put my finger on the results either when you look at these 2 charts from one year to the
Yeah, I
next.
mean, it'd be great if our third grade numbers would drop because everybody's proficient.
Absolutely.
I mean, that would be great.
And the other side, and actually, we talk about, she's schooled me on this pretty well with just talking about what's going on. We kind of had a reset with the summer of 23, so we're just kind of getting back into this because, well, what year was it? 22, it all was, 22 and 21 were like learning loss, right?
2021.
2021 and 22 was waived, so we didn't even have reading camp in 22. So 23 became our new baseline, and but even before the pandemic, you would see these numbers and you couldn't really put your finger on it. I think I still feel like this is a very individualized initiative the state does, and I'm not faulting the state for funding it. I think it's a great thing because a lot of times they don't keep funding things that they don't see large numbers of impact, but I commend them for continuing to fund this. because there's a kid out there that this camp helps every year. You know, I say a kid, there's multiple kids this camp helps every year.
That's right, I think we, sometimes we get caught up in the proficiencies, like you said, there were 27 individual children who now are not going to have that reading retained label, and that's a big deal for those 27.
I saw some things this summer, dealing with a couple individual things at schools where we had to get information from the teachers, and I'll be honest with you, I was really impressed with where the teachers were and knowing where the kids were. And, I won't get any farther than why it was on my desk, but I was very impressed with the data that Ashley went, and when we were trying to get data for me to look at, and how they had identified kids' strengths and weaknesses and areas of need of improvement. Very impressive.
Yeah, like you said, it's individual initiative, can't make them come, so.
I think our teachers have done a really good job keeping up with children and their ability, where they are in their reading ability. But we've still got room for improvement. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.
All right, next up is a program that we just want to make you aware of. It will kick off on Monday, and it's been in place, get my hand. It's been in place since we brought it for the first time, October 19, 2015, and it has served us well. So I'll let Anthony Grosh, Executive Director of Administrative Services for Students, take it from here.
Good afternoon, board members. Today I am presenting the 2025-26 Alternative Education Plan for students who would be long-term suspended this coming school year. So in accordance with General Statute 115C-390.9, we do have to have a plan in place to support those students. So just a few highlights. It's very similar as it has been in previous years. Grade span options are included for elementary, middle, and high school and middle school students. Can utilize state-approved online options like APEX program or NCBPS. Elementary students would receive face-to-face instruction for at least 6 hours per week. The bottom portion describes our collaboration and communication between my department and the friends in the curriculum instruction department to get a plan in place very quickly should a student be a long-term suspension upheld, because we have to get that prepared quickly within the 10-day time frame. So we work very quickly to get everything in place for the student and as smooth a transition so there's minimal interruption to their education. Just a few reminders, note that this plan applies to students who are removed from the classroom setting. They're not eligible for ISS, Intervention Center, or the ICART Aggression Replacement Training Program. In addition, this plan does not apply to students who are served through our Section of Children's Department. A specific plan is created for them based off their IEP needs and services that are outlined there. So again, this plan is consistent with all of our plans in the previous school years. And if you have any questions at this time.
How many last year, how many kids were long?
It was 18 or 19. Anthony and I were looking at 18 or 19, I think. One was, remember, long-term is from that point to the end of the year. 365, I group all of those in a folder, one folder which I keep up with. It was 18 or 19. Also remember long-term, if they're into the fourth quarter when it happens, there is the option to extend it to the end of the first semester next year. Just depends on, the situation there. But this has been seamless, I'll be honest. These children, when this happens, it's set up between student services and curriculum, just like that. It's Tammy and Dana and Ashley, and I'm missing somebody. I'm Sheena, you're involved, I know, because there's got to be some technology involved, and student services, it's seamless. And what I credit the staff with is, we way back when said the only online you could use was Apex. And then staff started saying we have multiple options, and so a little bit of language has changed to not be so specific, and it's worked very well. And so I just, you hate it when we have to use it. But the thing that you got to know, Anthony referenced early on, was the statute says that whether you long-term a long-term child, regardless of what their needs are, we have to provide education for them. And now, can a parent put it in writing? They can decline it, they can, but I don't really have a role in that unless they decline it. We can't ask them to decline it, they have to on their own and put it in writing to us. So it's worked very well, and we try to bring this every year in August, because it'll be in play on Monday morning. Hopefully we won't use it at all this year. We've had years with almost no long terms, so. But what we counted, was it 18 or 19 we counted today?
I believe it was 19.
19. So I just have I just give a lot of credit to staff, because when it happens, they take care of the kids playing very quickly.
I give a lot of credit to the staff. You know what, it's always gonna bug me, and I know it's a big elephant in the room, but you know what, I don't really have a whole lot to lose, nor do I care. But I have a real problem. That last thing it's important. I get it, it doesn't apply to the exceptional children. I get that, and our heart's out to exceptional children. But my heart's never gonna be out to someone that hits teachers, kicks them, assaults them. My heart's out to that teacher. And I understand, it just bothers me that your hands are tied, because you know what, that's not right. Teachers don't sign up to be abused. And I witnessed it, I've watched it on videos, I've watched it, and that's just a pet peeve. I can't read that without voicing my opinion, you know.
That's the way the system is.
You know, that's just not right. Come for me, crowd tonight, join in, bash me on Facebook, I don't care. You can just, I'm a changed man, you know what? They wanna attack me anymore with stuff like this, I've had enough. I've reached the point of enough. So, sorry, Aunt, you're doing a great job. That's just lack of a better term. Pisses me off that your hands are tied, and sometimes in the other 30 kids in the room pay the price. That pisses me off, deeply. I'm throwing ran over.
Well, and to be clear to anybody listening, what that last sentence also means is that we have to, if we have a child that's in special programs, that we have to follow their IEP. Specifically, that's the one, that's what, if we start putting together a program, should a child be long-term suspended. So that's, I think we wrote that more in the past to make sure the IEP wasn't overlooked as the alternative plan was made. But
You know, it frustrates sometimes. I mean, I know it does people in this room, and probably a lot of people are afraid to say it, but you know what? This boy, he don't care anymore. He just speaks the truth. That's all it is.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
thank you, Anthony. All right, board members, the final thing tonight is
I've seen
your list of events coming up. Tonight is the first night of the board meetings at 6 o'clock. So, everybody's here at 6 and then come rolling at 6:30, because we might be
We
done.
might be finished.
We might be done at 6:30.
We're not going over.
Just for those listening in the public, there was a
Don't
real,
say that. Every time we say it's gonna be short, we're here at 10 o'clock. Don't say that.
We didn't tell you about the 8 o'clock rule.
so I didn't see a cap. Do I need to put that on the next board
These
meeting?
things.
If you don't get it done by 8 o'clock, it's not
I'll
getting
bring
done this
a
month.
sock, I'll bring a sock to
Yeah.
Gary's mouth.
No, I'll put, never mind.
So a couple things, obviously, that's one of the big things there. Want to point that out. Obviously, we also start school on Monday. Don't want to overlook the early college, which started, I think, on August 7th. And just board members know, Andrea, will this be the 4th year with the Teacher of the Year banquet? Early? So just remember September 2, which is the Tuesday of the second week, is our Teacher of the Year banquet. It's at 6 o'clock at Pinewood Country Club. So you can see some other dates. Don't have all the dates because they haven't been established there towards the bottom of that list. But you have some big events there, retirement dinner, employee recognition night is there as well. And all of the board meetings for the rest of the 2025, 2026 school year. And I know it's only August, but we'll be in December before you know it. It starts clipping along, so. Any questions about the schedule or anything that we talked about today, this afternoon? Kind of get used to this kind of shorter work session to see, try to get information items we can out of the board meeting if we can do that. So that's why these items were put here this afternoon instead of at tonight's meeting. So,
Tuesday.
any questions?
Today, isn't it?
Well, board members, this is all we have. So if you guys, we'll start back at 6 o'clock for the board meeting.
We just moved the work session to 5 o'clock now.
Thank goodness we're not having to wait.
Yeah, you might better give it a month or two before you do that. So, all right, well, this concludes what we have for the work session, and we will be back at 6 o'clock for the board meeting.
At least we don't have to wait till 6:30.